go ahead and get started. All right, good evening, families who are here in attendance with us. This evening session is going to be available in English, Spanish, and in Portuguese. At the top, in just a moment, I'm going to share and launch a poll where you can identify which language you are here to listen to. And you can also access interpretation by clicking the globe icon at the bottom of your screen. And we will have Alexandra share that information in Spanish.
Okay. Gracias, Jansen. Buenas noches. Recuerden que para acceder a la interpretación simultánea, debe acceder al icono de globo ubicado en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla y seleccionar español. También puede ver en sus pantallas las indicaciones para responder a una encuesta de qué idioma está escuchándonos esta noche. Gracias.
Para acessar a interpretação simultânea, você pode clicar no globo na parte inferior da sua tela e você clica no idioma que você gostaria de ouvir. Para ouvir apenas o idioma interpretado, você clica em mutar o áudio original. Obrigada.
All right, and just one moment and we'll launch the poll. And if our families can just take a moment to complete the poll, and we will get our interpreters into their rooms. And Beth Ann, you are ready to go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Beth Ann Jellison, and I brought my team with me, and we're going to introduce ourselves. I am the principal here at Carlton. This is my 7th year at Carlton, and let's see, I've been at Carlton for 21 years. It's really the only place I've been, and the other people are now going to introduce themselves. We'll start with Lauren.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Weaver. I'm the assistant principal at Carlton. This is, I think, my 14th year in the district. Before coming to Carlton 4 years ago, I worked as a 6th grade ELA teacher at Collins Middle School, and then was lucky enough to come to Carlton and have been here since. And I'm going to pass it off to Laura.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Abutaleb. I'm the family engagement, and this is my 5th year working at Carlton. Liz.
Hi, everyone. I am Liz Yoder. I am the City Connects coordinator and one of the counselors at Carlton, and I am currently in my 7th year at Carlton.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mara Perlak, and I'm one of the kindergarten teachers at Carlton, and this is my 7th year at Carlton. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Slutterink, and this is my 5th year at Carlton, and I'm also one of the kindergarten teachers.
Hi, I'm Kylie Felix. I'm the multilingual learner teacher at Carlton, and this is my 6th year at Carlton.
All right. We have a slideshow that goes along with our presentation. I'm going to go through some information, then Mrs. Weaver will go through some information, then our P1 teachers will go through some information, and then we'll have a question and answer. If you want to put questions in the chat, we will watch that and try to answer. We're going to try and hold off on the questions till the end unless something comes up while we're speaking. So I first want to talk about our innovation plan at Carlton. We have been an innovation school for 11 years. And we have really used our innovation plan to make sure that our students at Carlton are taught where they are at and try to help them grow from where they start. So instead of calling our grade levels like kindergarten, first, second, we use P1, which stands for primary 1, and that's our kindergarten standards. We use P2 for primary 2, which is our first and second grade standards. We use E1 for our elementary elementary 1, which is our 3rd grade standards, and then E2, which is our elementary 2, which is 4th and 5th grade standards. And within each cohort, students are able to move to different groupings so that they are actually being taught where they're at. A lot of our instruction is small group instruction. It's very rare that we have whole group lessons within the classroom. There are some times when we do that, but for the most part, we teach in small groups so that we are better apt to reach each student and be able to teach them where they're at. So when I think about our P1 classroom, we have 2 classrooms, but for our English language arts and our math groups, we have an additional teacher. So our students will have an opportunity to be with a smaller cohort than with the 21 students that we have in each grade. I do say this because there are a lot of transitions at Carlton. So you know, if I like to be upfront with families to let them know that we do move around. And if your child is someone who really likes to have one teacher and remain with the same friends for like the whole school year, Carlton doesn't do that because we have kids that move into our school 3 times a year. And we also have kids that move up into new cohorts 3 times a year. So we have entries in August, November, and March. And these transitions happen naturally. So when kids are ready, both academically, but in addition, also social emotionally, they will move into a next cohort. We put a lot of emphasis on our social emotional learning because in order to be ready to learn, you have to be feeling good and you have to feel safe and you have to feel comfortable and you have to know how to get along with people and share and all of those things that you learn as you're growing. So we make sure that the whole child is ready to move, not just academically. We use a lot of data. We take a lot of information on our kids, not necessarily with assessments, but every day we're looking at our students and we're using that data to drive both instruction and what they need for social emotional learning. At Carlton, we do have a slightly different calendar because our transitions that happen 3 times a year, we have actual meetings for our students. They bring their family. The student holds the meetings themselves and they have their current teacher, their next year teacher, and any other adult in the building that might have a connection to that student goes and listens to their transition meetings. And that way, then the incoming teacher knows what to expect as their child, as your child presents to them during their transition meetings. So we do have a day off in June that the other schools don't have. We also have a couple extra half days that the other schools don't have. We try to be pretty similar in case someone has like a high school or a middle school student, but we do make sure that we tell you that they are slightly different from Salem Public Schools. I think Mrs. Weaver is going to talk about our community next.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about what it means to be a community member and what community means to us at Carlton. So we like to say we're a small school, but we are a mighty school. At Carlton, Beth Ann just mentioned how there are a lot of transitions with teachers throughout the day. We are very fortunate with our plan that we have teachers for math, we have reading specialists, and we truly feel as though at Carlton, the staff at the school owns all of the students. It's something that is unique to us as a school and the fact that we do overlap so many different kids. And I can confidently tell you that the majority of the staff in the building know the names of almost all of the students. It's something special. It's welcoming for the kids. It also makes our staff feel really good. And again, even though we're small, we have that really community-based feel because we know our kiddos and we know where they're at. We're really fortunate that we also have something called community circles. So community circles are an opportunity for your kiddo to overlap another teacher and a group of students in the school. So how community circles work is they meet, or we meet in community circles on the half days. It's about a 40-minute block. And when your student enters P1, they'll be assigned a community circle teacher. And the ideal is that they actually stay with that same community circle teacher throughout their entire time at Carlton. So in many cases, when the same teacher, they'll have the same community circle teacher that they started in P1 when they're leaving us in E2. Community circles are groups of students. It doesn't matter what grade or cohort they're in. We have P1 students, we have P2, E1, E2 students, and it's all of them coming together in a small group and either doing a community building project together, maybe having a small SEL lesson together. And it's a really great opportunity for some of our older kiddos to show those leadership skills that we know that they have and make connections with some of our P1 kiddos that are entering the building. Our staff loves community circles. The kiddos love community circles. It's something we really look forward to on Wednesdays. And again, it just really helps to build community at Carlton. We also have a really robust PTO at Carlton. They do have a Facebook page. You can follow them on Facebook if you'd like. I believe it's Carlton PTO. Within the last couple of years, they've done a really fantastic job of doing community-based activities. Some are at Carlton and others are actually out in Salem. We've found that that's really helped with participation. You know, for example, we've had some really big community events at Forest River Park. We had an egg hunt. We've had a candy cane flashlight hunt. Recently at Carlton, we had a glow dance and we had a lot of kids come. And I will tell you, we had most of the school there with siblings and parents, and the kids had a blast. This weekend, for example, it's pancakes and PJs on a Saturday morning. It's $2 for a pancake breakfast at Carlton. So we really feel as though our PTO goes above and beyond. They are always looking for volunteers. So if you do end up at Carlton, please, please, please consider volunteering. Our PTO president is very front and center and is there as a resource and can tell you that, you know, there any way that you could help, we'd appreciate it. And then I kind of mentioned this, the community events that take place off the Carlton campus. We're also working on this as a staff. So Bethy and I have been strategic with some of our staff meeting times towards the end of the year this year. Instead of my staff sitting in a professional development with us, we're actually going to go out to some various parks, and that's something we're continuing on next year as well. So we do truly value community, like I said, our own little Carlton community, but also just being part of Salem and what it means to be a part of Salem. And it's something that we find super important and we really focus on with the kids. In the corner of my slide, you can see there's a little, it's actually a sticker that we have at school with Carlton the monkey on it that says community. We value community so much that at Carlton, when kiddos show values of community, they can come to the office, they can get a sticker. We celebrate that. We talk about it on our half days when we have assemblies as well. So yeah, again, something that we really find value to, that we hope you will as well, if your kiddo decides to join us at Carlton. And I'm not sure who, I think it might be Katie and Mara. Are you guys up next? All right, I'm going to pass it off to my teachers.
Hi, everyone. Like I said, I'm Mara Perlak. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers. I'm going to take you through a day in the life of a P1 student. I'm going to start with the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule. And we start with our breakfast in the classroom. So every student will be able to have breakfast in the classroom. If they ate at home, that is fine too, but it is available to every student. It is a healthy option to be able to come to school, eat their breakfast, be able to have a little social time and some reading and some quiet time during the morning while they're eating. And then we lead into our morning meeting, which is my favorite part of the day, where they will be able to have a greeting every day, be able to have a share, and lots of fun. It's lots of fun during this time. They have an activity, and it really is just an opportunity to build our classroom as our family, our community, just like Ms. Jellison and Ms. Weaver had said. That's our main goal, is to build this like really strong community here at Carlton. And that is really happening during our morning meeting. And then also, as I will talk about soon, in our closing circle at the end of the day. After our morning meeting, this is where Ms. Jellison and Ms. Weaver had talked about our transitions, where we go into our math classes, and we do that by our trimesters or by level, so that no student is being like able to sit through something that they're not like, either they're above that and then we can move them on to the next level, or so that we wouldn't want any of their growth to be stagnant. They're able to go into the next math that's appropriate for their level, to like meet every student at their entry level. So their math classes they'll start at 9 o'clock and they'll move for about an hour for math there, and they go to different classrooms for that, where we have the extra teacher, like Ms. Jellison had said. And then after that, they come back to the classroom. We do a foundational lesson, which is usually like a phonics skill, where they learning their letters, or again, at their level where they are in their skills through phonics. And again, if they know all their letters and letter sounds, we wouldn't keep them where they are. We would have their entry points where they need to be. And this is also sometimes split between the classrooms or different teachers. And then we have, this is a very vigorous schedule that they have. So it's a lot. And like Ms. Jellison had said, there's lots of transitions here. So we have our snack and our recess, and they are able to have a healthy snack here at school, or you also have the option to have a snack from home as well. And then they go outside for recess most of the time. If it's raining or snowing, they have an inside recess option. After that, they come back into the classroom, and then they have their Readers Workshop. We have workshop model here at Carlton, where we have Readers Workshop, Writers Workshop. We also run math workshop as well. So it's the workshop model through all of that. And Readers Workshop, we do My View for the curriculum, and they have like usually a 10 to 15-minute lesson. Then after that, they do centers, while we have a guided reading group, and this is another option for students to be able to go at their level with different teachers. So we have an extra teacher where there's an extra transition, where they're taking out of the classroom, or they're moving based upon their level of reading to be able to go to a different teacher. Then we have Writers Workshop, which is also, we do My View, and they're back in their own classrooms for this, and we differentiate so that they're again met at their level for Writers Workshop, where they're able to learn how to write independently, and be able to learn writer's craft, and learn that like think, draw, write like capability with their writing, and learn how to have that through conferencing with teachers in their classroom. And again, making sure that we're differentiating at their level for that. Usually for Writers Workshop, they're staying within their classroom for that. After Writers Workshop, we have lunch, and then we have again a second recess. And then we go into the end of the day after lunch, where we try to do the heavy lifting in the morning. In the afternoon, we also have our content block, which we are doing social studies and science. We are doing right now just like a week of science and then a week of social studies. And they usually have a 6-week block of social studies and then a six-week block of science. But it's broken up by week, and then week of science, week of social studies, and then so on and so forth. For content. After content, we have a 10-minute closing circle where we wrap up the day. We also review the skills that we learned in our morning meeting. And like Ms. Suttering will talk about in a minute, some of the other social and emotional skills that they're learning in their morning meeting, as well as during their closing circle. And then after closing circle, they take off for specialists. And then after specialists, it is the end of their day. It's a very busy and very rigorous schedule for a P1 student. I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Lettering. She will talk about our Wednesday schedules, slightly different because we have a different, it's called a Win Wednesday, which she will discuss. Thank you.
Hi. All right, so she kind of did all the heavy lifting for me. Wednesdays, we do have most of what we typically do on our Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The only big differences is that, like Ms. Perlak said, we do have a win block. That's our enrichment block, and it's extra time that the students get to spend with the specialist, where they do planned activities. One year, we did, I think, 6 weeks of learning yoga. So it's really like a fun part of the week that they get. It's a different schedule, but it's also that enrichment added in. We also have a big problem math block. So we don't switch during that math time. We have math within our own classrooms. And it's where the students in your class get to work with the other students that they typically wouldn't work with because they're at all different levels, and they get to collaborate together and kind of get that math discourse and talking about math and solving problems. And then the last big difference is our guided play with our social emotional lesson. So typically we stick to one topic that we're teaching social emotionally, and then on Wednesday we do our big lesson of what we're trying to go after, and then from there they split off and they do a guided play where they get to practice these social and emotional skills. So Wednesdays are different, but they're not that much different. There's only about 3 big changes. And that's it.
Okay, so that is our presentation. And now I wanted to talk about our tours and the schools in Salem. So I think if you guys haven't been to all of the presentations, I think it's really important when you're making this decision that you look at all of the schools in Salem. The people that I work with are great. The principals do a fantastic job at their school at the elementary level. And I think it's really important that you go to all the schools, because when you walk into the school that your child's going to go to, you're going to know, you're going to feel it. You're going to see, something that you were looking for, or you're just going to feel like home. And that's why in Salem, we do tours so that families can actually come and see what happens in the school. The tours are done during the day while the students are in the building. And I think it's really, really important that you go and see the schools. Our tour schedule is a little different. Again, Carlton, I don't know why we always seem to be a little different, but we are a little different this year. Our tours are Monday, the 27th, that whole week. And then the next week we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I think the district does, there's the March 6th week, and then the March 13th week. We have scheduled hours when we get back from vacation, but we can accommodate if, you don't have any time off till the week of the 13th, please call and we will accommodate. This just worked better for our schedule, so it was easier to put these times into place for these 2 weeks. But please, if you can go call, you can call me, you can call our family engagement facilitator, Laura, you can call Mrs. Weaver. You can email me. I'm very good with email. So if you want to schedule one of these times, please email me and I can put you on the list so that you can come and see our school. All right. If anyone has any questions, we will be happy to take any questions. No questions? Okay, I guess there's no questions. If you guys think of something, we put up mine, Mrs. Weaver and Mrs. Abu Talib's emails up here. So if you think of something when you get off, you can always email us and we will get back to you so that we can give you any information that you might need in order to help make your decision. Oh, I do see some questions. Okay. Is there homework for kindergarten students? There, at Carlton, we do not give homework. The only homework that we give is reading. We find it's really important for kids to be reading every single day. We do not give any other homework. We feel like we have a really full schedule during school, and they work really, really hard. And so we want them to be able to get home and not have to continue to work so hard, but we do really want them to be reading every single day. How many kids typically apply for each trimester? So at Carlton, we don't ever really see that. I'm going to be totally honest. Parent information does all of the enrollment. We don't get to see who applies and who doesn't. But there are a lot of spaces. We have 2 kindergarten classes, and I think typically we take about 25 to 30 students in September. I know it's not 42, but we do take a lot in September. It's less in November and March. But I mean, I think if Carlton's where you want to be, you should absolutely apply. because of all the things that go into how you get there. I don't know if you live close or not, but it's worth it if this is where you want to be, to make sure you do apply. We do have band. We do not have chorus, but we do have band. That starts in 4th grade. They actually have a lesson, and then they do band or orchestra, depending on if they take the violin. We do have a play too. We haven't done it since the pandemic just because of everything that's been happening, but it will be happening again next year, and everybody can participate in the play. It's usually performed around the winter holiday break. Our music teacher runs it, and then we have parents that come in and help support it. And the play, a lot of the big speaking roles go to the E2 students, who are our 4th and 5th graders, but even the little kids, even P1s have been in it in the past and had some, small, but some speaking parts. And we build that up as they get older. We have 2 gym classes per week. We have 1 art, 1 music, and then on the Wednesdays, when there isn't anything planned, they rotate through those 3 specialists. So they'd have another gym, another art, or another music, as well as the ones during the other 4 days. So they do have a lot of specialist time, because that's important for us as well. How do you handle challenging behaviors in the K classrooms? What is the philosophy? So I'll be honest, we don't see very many kindergarten students in the office. So if Ms. Perlak or Ms. Sletterink wants to talk about how they handle the behaviors, because they don't usually send them to us, they usually deal with them in their classroom. When do you want to take that on? Katie?
Hi. Like Ms. Jellison said, we don't often have to send students to the office for anything. We handle it within the classroom. We have logical consequences that match children's behaviors, where we might have them have a conversation with us about what happened and be able to teach them the skill right then and there. Because again, in kindergarten, these things are all developmental. We're learning so many different things, which we're teaching every week during our WIN block, as well as every day during our morning meetings, throughout every lesson that we're doing all day long. So again, these are things that we expect. We expect students to be able to have these things that they're learning. They're teachable moments. We teach them on the spot. We give them the language that they need to practice. We have them practice. We talk them through it. Then they're able to do that throughout every part of every day. And it's ongoing all through P1. The biggest thing that I would say, if a student had a real big issue, it would be contact. It would be, we are a no contact school. This is something that we push from day one. It would be, if this is continuing where they are putting their hands on another student, then we would have them have a bigger conversation with going to the office and speaking with Mrs. Jellison or Mrs. Weaver to be able to understand that there are bigger consequences. This is not acceptable. It is not tolerated at Carlton. And then they understand, like, this is what I need to do. This is my expectation, and that we are not going to just stand by and let it happen. That is something that, yes, you are growing to be able to do it, but we are not going to tolerate it. Followed by a logical consequence, whether it's having, them have an apology letter or something that they're making or fixing what they broke. If they break something, meaning they're hurting somebody or they're physically hurting somebody, whether it's feelings or physically, they need to fix it somehow. So we're able to do that and teach them. We've been really lucky being able to have that happen and successful with all of our students having that growth in kindergarten. So I feel really confident that that will continue throughout the history at Carlton with all of our kindergarten students. And it's a case-by-case thing. So it's hard to answer that question, but that's where we start. And we also use a lot of different social, emotional, I wouldn't say we stick to a curriculum, because we do have the autonomy to be able to do what's right for every student, but we use Caring School Community to be able to help us with our social, emotional skills, as well as responsive classroom. So those are some of the things that we do here at Carlton.
And if you don't mind, I just want to say that because of our transitions, we have kids that have already been in our P1 classroom. So when kids see other kids doing the right thing, it's much easier to continue doing that, because kids don't like to be different. They like to, not get in trouble. So when they see other kids that are doing the right thing, it really helps. And we call our students, we have newbies, middle Bs, and old Bs. And so the older kids that are in there are always like our role models who are doing the right thing and showing the newbies what has to happen. So it really does help with those transitions in P1, especially for those that haven't been to school yet. It's very helpful. Are there any other questions? Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. I'm sorry that we can't see you, but please make sure you call the school. I would love to meet all of you. I'm sure the teachers would too, because I do bring you right into the classrooms and you get to see the students. So please make an appointment to come to one of our our tours. And thank you for coming, and make sure you see the other schools as well. I think it's really important. And again, if you have any questions or, forgot to ask something or remembered something when we get off, please email me and, or Mrs. Weaver, and we will get back to you. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Stop. How do I stop the recording? Do I just stop?